Everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna address the overall market once again. I think there's about to be a massive move coming up really soon. So we're going to talk about what to expect. Now, we're also going to look at some stocks that reported earnings and talk about what's gonna happen within the next few days. Y'all, let's dive right into the charts right off the bat. We got the SPY over here, and today doesn't surprise me. The price action that we've seen, because I don't know if you noticed, but the last video I was like, I wasn't really sure how everything was going to go. I was leaning a little bit bearish, but not too, like, nothing was really clear. And right now, nothing is super clear either. All right, let's look at the daily chart. And the candles are kind of getting smaller. Is the price rising? Yes. Is it suspect? Also yes. All right. You don't want to get caught chasing long at any point when these candles are moving like that. You want to be very cautious. And again, I said yesterday, take things day by day, which means day trading is actually preferred. There are some swing trading opportunities as well. We took a swing trading opportunity, which I'm going to share with y'all later. But for the overall markets, things are looking like they're slowing down a bit. They're slowing down just a tad bit. The VIX is also rising. Let's look at the VIX here. VIX. All right, so the VIX rose again today after filling the gap from yesterday and showing this thing right there. It's continuing higher. Now, how fast are we going to see the VIX touch the neckline of this triple bottom? The neckline is at 14.5. I don't know. It could be Monday. Could be Tuesday. I don't know. All right, I don't know. But it looks like we're trending that way. So it's like a, how do I say this? It's like, I think it's a divergence where we see this thing moving up like that, right? And the SPY itself is also creeping up, but one of them has to go the other way. They're not supposed to go in the same direction. So it's like an early indication that there's gonna be a massive move downwards coming soon for the SPY, right? So that's my thoughts on it. Now, first stock that announced earnings today that we gotta look at. That stock is Visa. I wasn't expecting the reaction that we got from it with this earnings. So first and foremost, there is a massive pattern on the weekly. Yeah, it's on the weekly. So there is an ascending triangle on the weekly right here. And then obviously you can see the uptrend with the higher lows, right? It's been going and going and going. I thought it would do a lot better. Here it is. This is the reaction right there. So it creeped up a little bit, and then obviously today there was a sell-off in the middle of the day with the SPY, and then they put out this type of reaction. I don't know how the stock is going to move tomorrow. It could form as a bullish engulfing candle where we start at 266 and then move all the way higher. Because in the back of my mind, I have that big pattern, like the pattern on a bigger picture as kind of like as priority. So this reaction may be just a way to get these contracts to be really cheap before we see a move higher. But watch for clues intraday. I wouldn't just jump out the gates. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't do that. I don't. Unless there's something so clean and so obvious forming that is like in pre-market or that's stretching over 2 or 3 days and is breaking out at the open. Unless something like that happens, I don't jump in at the open. I really don't. Usually the open is that moment where I just look at what I have, and if the stock is going well, I hold, and if it doesn't go well, I get out. I immediately cut my swings. That's kind of how that's usually what happens with me and the open in 5 minutes at least. All right, so don't just jump in there out the gates. Wait for clues to tell you where it's going to go. You can set an alert right here at 260, at 261. All right. And if it rings, the next thing you got to do is to watch the volume. That way you don't get trapped, because the volume is a big indication of whether this thing is actually going to collapse or not. So just keep that in mind. So that's with Visa. I'm pretty sure MA also followed suit with this one. Now, the other stock that had earnings that I want to share into this video is COF, Capital One. This one also fell, but not by much. Not by much. All right. And big picture is kind of overvalued still. Like it went way up here after showing that ascending triangle. Way up here. Eventually, it needs to pull back. The gap on the left got filled. It might play some games before we know for sure where this one is going to go. I wouldn't touch this one. I wouldn't touch this one. Now, let's talk about another stock. Another stock for tomorrow is Intel. And Intel, it had earnings this afternoon, and the stock is very notorious for having negative reactions through earnings. Like most of the earnings report from this stock is usually negative. Like this is it's the only positive that I've seen in like 2 years looking at this stock. But usually when it has earnings, it tends to drop. And right now, right there, what I see is a bear flag. There's a bear flag on the chart, and the earnings reaction caused the breakdown right here. All right. So this is the bear flag. Now, two things can happen. The first thing is that it opens up at this price, it opens up between 44 and 45, and then drops. The second option is for it to actually be generous to everyone, right? And bounce up here, retest 46, and then drop. Exactly the same scenario that I drew for you guys with DAWC. All right, exactly that same scenario, option 1 or option 2. So this is definitely something that I want to watch tomorrow for a potential day trade. All right, watch this one tomorrow. Now, a quick update. Yesterday, I shared with y'all 2 stocks. The third one was the good one. The first 2 didn't behave that well. First one was CYTK, I think. Yeah. That one didn't open the way I wanted it to open. It opening at below 81 would have been nice, but the volume was trash and it just chopped in the morning. So this one was a no-go. The next one was mRNA. And mRNA, this one opened up higher. All right, which means that the pattern failed. As soon as it broke above this level right here, this 102 level, the pattern was dead. It was never going to collapse. All right, and jumping in at the open was not this again. I'm telling you guys, that's not something I do. I don't just chase things at the open. So it's very, very dangerous because they can be these quick red to green moves or these green green to red moves, right? It could be very wild at the open. That's why I typically don't get involved. I use that time to get out of swings, all right, or to keep my swings if it's behaving the way that I like. All right, now the third stock that I've mentioned to you was the WAC, and congratulations to anybody who made some money on this one. I gave you guys maybe 4 reasons why, 5 reasons actually, and 5 reasons why this one was a clear and obvious short. We took a trade on her. All right, I told y'all yesterday about the dilemma I had between Roku and Microsoft long, right? And this was the long opportunity that we took. And this is the DWAC right there. I shorted it, looking for a drop to 30. 30 was a little bit aggressive, but I held my pulse all the way. I just followed the diagram that I drew for you guys. Again, it's still on the chart. I was expecting, this was one of the outcomes that I was expecting. A pop back up, right? That's what this line represents. Followed by the drop all the way down to, this one says 31. So I was just following that line, following the chart and see how it moves along it. and it got exactly where I wanted it to be on time too. So this was a very simple and easy trades for us and for hopefully for you guys as well. All right, so again, congrats if you made some money on it. Is it done dropping? The answer is no. The simple answer, at least. The simple answer is no. Like, this was a predictable move, especially after the stock completely gave out. Very predictable move. What happens next is, what happens next is the stock going to play games as it fades? What kind of games is the stock going to play, right? Because sometimes they don't just go straight down. Short sellers would love for it to go just straight down. Like, I would have loved for the stock to drop all the way down to 20, right? But you gotta be realistic, and you gotta look at the way the stock is moving, at the pace at which the stock is moving. You also gotta look at the SPY to see where there could be potential trend reversals. And I got it at the perfect time too, at exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes after market hours, right? So around like 10 o'clock, right here. That's where I got out, right there. All right. So you got to look at a whole lot of things in order to really be sure that it's not going to drop even lower and lower. Now, when is it going to get there? I don't know. It could jump up here before falling again. It's going to get back to $25. That's something that I expect. Like, I'm not bullish on the stock. I just don't know what kind of games it's going to play between now and between like February 1st, where it's going to end up at $20. It's probably gonna get there before it. Again, how slow is the fade going to be? After February, it's probably gonna fade like that. All right, it's just the in-betweens that is the challenge. So keep your eyes out on it. And remember, as time goes on with the stock, the IV drops, the implied volatility drops, which means that the put options also drop. So the longer it plays games, like the more calls and puts, people who are holding calls and puts, they're getting destroyed. All right, so you don't want to be holding contracts at the wrong time. You want to be very specific, very precise in your entries, and you want to get in like a little bit before massive moves occurs, hopefully to the downside, right? Or you want to catch the wave downward when the volume picks up. You don't want to be in it when the stock is going sideways. That's how you lose. Again, keep in mind the Greeks when you're trading this specific stock. Like the IV, look here. The IV is over 300. This is what I'm talking about. It's over 300. These contracts are cheaper now because tomorrow is Friday. But the ones, look at these ones from February. These ones are supposed to be like 100, and these ones are supposed to be $170, kind of like these, right? But because the IV is so high, that also increases the value of these contracts on both sides. So the longer the stock plays games, the cheaper these contracts get. All right, so that's my thoughts on these ones. We also took a day trade later today. Let me show you guys. We took a day trade on AMAT. All right. And I made a mistake. It's not really, it is a mistake. It is. I made the mistake to sell. I sold it right here. But at the same time, is it really a mistake? It depends on how you look at it. We're gonna go into the discords again, right? I gave everybody a warning. Again, I sold the WAC at 10-11 completely out. And then I saw this one. I gave out a warning that I was watching AMAT for the drop. This is a descending triangle for those of you who are new to this channel. I look for these structures. I literally all day, that's all I look for. These structures. And that's all I trade. Because they're easier to manage. They're easy for me to manage, right? And they're usually easy to predict. So as soon as that thing broke down, I bought puts on there. The price target that I had was 171. All right, I said 171. My mistake was actually meaning it and holding all the way until 171, which means that I should have swung, but I got rid of my contracts when I saw a double bottom right here. And also keep in mind that Intel had earnings. Like during those last 10 minutes of market hours, I should have considered the fact that Intel has earnings, because it's notorious for having negative reactions through earnings. But that was the day trade for AMATs. Is it going to go down lower? Most likely. Look for clues on when to get in. If it goes up and retests 173, I would be very, very, very interested in going in with puts again. Just if, again, it has to retest. It needs to retest this level right there, or give me another structure that I like in order to go back in shorts. So have your drawings put out like that, and set your alerts. You can drop this one all the way down here to 166 and have another one at like 172, because anybody who swung, I'm sure people in the Discord swung. I'm 1000% sure people in the Discord swung, and rightfully so, and I'm happy for them. But with this one right here, anybody who had puts, they'll be looking to cover, and when they cover, there would be a spike, or there should be a spike, right? So patiently wait for that, and watch for a rejection or retest and a rejection of 171 before we continue downward. The stock is kind of overbought, kind of. And also look on the daily charts, the combination of these two candles right there, number 1 and number 2, this is called a dark cloud cover. If you don't know what that is, just look on Google dark cloud cover and you will see that right there. After an uptrend, it's really, really bearish. I should have seen that so that I could swing. I should have seen that, but it's all right. Again, that's my honest thoughts on all of these stocks, and that is the end of the video. This video is getting way too long. All right, so definitely demolish the like button as always. I release these videos from Sunday to Thursday at 10 p.m. This one is a little bit late. I know it's gonna be released at like 10:30. All right, so definitely click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on these videos, and YouTube will notify you when I release these videos. If you'd like to be part of a private Discord community where you can get all of this information in real time, including my trades, and most importantly, the reason why I take my trades. That way you'll learn exactly why I do things, right? You can find that as the first link in the description of the video below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Paul Nguma and on X, and at Paul Nguma and at Patternology Lab on Instagram and on X. All right, and also to get some free stocks with Webull, use the third link in the description of the video below. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Nguma with Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see all of you in the next video.